Hello everyone, my name is AP the Weird One, and welcome back for more Full Metal Panic: Invisible Victory. This time it's episode 5, Welcome to the Jungle. We're going to be doing episode 5 and 6, although I'm just going to kind of splice them together, I'm going to do one at each time. But anyway, let's start off with this new arc in the town, or city of Namsac. From what I gather, it's basically an Asian town, like somewhere around Vietnam area sort of shtick, like I guess more Western Asia, like past Japan, but not necessarily China. I got the feeling, I thought it was Africa at first, but I'm like, I think this is Asia. I think the Asians would have a little bit more technologically advanced, having a more sound city. But I think in the light novel, it is in Africa. I'll have to check back. But this is the arc that I remember very vividly, given what's happened at the very end. But it's we got 4 episodes to deal with this, and Sousuke is here in this town. He's looking for a man named Rick. They used to work together, but we don't learn that until about later on. We're introduced to two new characters, which we'll get into. But this town, it's an Asian town. Their big highlight is wrestling of old ASs that have been decommissioned. They just do wrestling. It makes big money. That's the big attraction for the town. And of course, the government, everybody allows it because it brings in a lot of cash, brings in tourism. It's that sort of shtick. And what I really like about it is, this from a different angle, I'll show a little bit later. It is the mecha is very colorful, different designs. We got a little bit different from the standard Gernsback, the Shadow, the Arbalest, the and the M9. So we get some different varieties. They look very nice. I like the colorful aspects of it. But simple wrestling. If you're good, you can make some good money. And the person who wants to who's got an old AK Gernsback. This girl name is Nami. A very feisty little redhead. She needs lots of money. Very friendly, young. She's given that she's about the same age as Sousuke. She's about 17, give or take. She is indeed a little bit of a whispered. We'll just spoil that business. Oh, and we do need to show another friend. But yeah, so our first character is Mr. Lemon. He is a man from he's a photographer. He gets bullied and pay up some money because he bumped into some guys, and she comes to the rescue with a broken gun, and she tries to give him the money. She gets some money from him, because she wants her AS to be repaired, but he's not buying it. He kind of has to. She has to show him what's about it, and it's also thanks to Sousuke that happens. But Nami is a very cute girl. It seems like a good Christian girl considering she's got a cross and everything. We get a little bit of her backstory, which you take it as you will. But she, she comes from this little village that got destroyed. Pretty much everybody wiped out except for her. And then the pilot of the Gernsback, apparently he died, and she was going to sell it, but she decided to keep it and hopefully rise to the ranks and rebuild her village. She's a very, very good girl. Very spunky. I guess you could say that she is a very reddish person, but she's also not necessarily modest, but she's a good person overall. Mr. Lemon, I'm actually a little bit thrown back by Mr. Lemon's appearance because I know who he is. I took this guy for a bit older, given because he's a character that's going to be coming back up again. He's a member of Mithril, actually. I got the impression he was a lot older, maybe not didn't have a lot of hair or something. I don't know. I didn't expect him to look like Kurtz Weber. Let's just say that. I don't think this is actually Kurt based on his voice, because I think Sousuke would have recognized him. I don't think he even has the build, but I do know that he's from Mithril, and he's a good guy. I think he's a good guy. I just did not get this impression from him. From when I was reading it, I got the impression he kind of was like it looked a little bit like the dirty cop from trying to think of the show. Um, it's the one where the call person John Doe in the computer that sends out a number that saves lives. I forget what but he's the dirty cop that gets reformed. He kind of reminds me of that show. Oh man, and it's on the tip of my tongue. And I just that's what the appearance I got from him from the book. I don't know. I didn't take him for this young whippersnapper. Regardless of the fact, we're moving on. But basically get in there. We get a little introduction. I was a bit surprised that Sousuke gave out so much information about himself. Like he mentioned in Magistan. He used to be a guerrilla fighter. He doesn't mention Mithril or anything. But he does give out his full name. So I'm like, okay. I know what's going to happen later on, and it's like this is the arc that maybe like made you stand up like, wow, this is brutal, even more than like the previous film, because I guess I don't remember it that well, but yeah, so maybe he's not worried about Agamemnon finding him or anything. They've got Kamina. I won't say how long it's been, but yeah, it's been some time. They're in this Asian town, and he's looking for Sousuke's looking for purpose here or something. He's not given purpose. He just wasn't wanted to fight Rick, and then of course Rick died. He did warn him like, he's got to watch your back, man, and he just didn't do it. For some reason, at first I thought Rick was Sousuke, but like he gave a fake name, but no, that wasn't the case. It was someone different, but yeah. They managed to win the competition. Basically, they did like a sumo wrestling move, and when an AS basically, this one Dao, he gets basically thrown to a wrestling move. It's basically getting like a car crash, knocks him out instantly. So, but that's the thing I really like about it. I really like this episode because of the colorfulness. The Nami is very good spunky character, and also just Mr. Lemon being as young and youthful as he is. I was not expecting that. That's the thing that threw me out for a loop. But that's episode 9. I'm gonna go watch episode 10. Not episode 9. That's episode 5. All right. So that's episode 5. Good solid introduction to what's gonna happen. Now I'm gonna go take a moment to watch episode 7. Anyway, I'll see you guys in just a quick sec. Alright guys, I am back for episode 6 of Fullmetal Panic Invisible Victory, Rotten Repose, which is an interesting choice of words, especially this repose, which we'll get to in a sec. But first off, I want to say I'm glad that I decided to do both episodes 5 and 6 back to back, because episode 6 was a fantastic episode, a really good. Like once it started to get going, it was utterly fantastic. I was a little bit confused at first, but then I'm like, oh, okay, I see where we're going. It's very nice. And here's the thing, not to say that episode 5 was bad or anything, but I think like you kind of needed to binge this one and maybe this arc in general. I might be doing that. I'm not 100% sure, but let's just say I'm excited to finish off this arc, even though I know what's going to happen. But first off, I want to mention a couple of things. So their Gernsback is named the Arbalist, it's named Crossbow. It's named Crossbow, but and the reason, so they name it Crossbow, which is basically it's named after Arbalist, which is another term for crossbow. I mean, it was like a specialized version, but I forgot to mention that part. And I also didn't mention how good Nami is. She's not bad looking, but we'll get to that more in a little bit. But they decided to name the machine Crossbow. Basically, it's a successor to Arbalist. Even Sousuke decides to name it after it. Like he's very gung ho about repainting it and calling Al2. Like so, and this episode overall is about in terms of growth of Sousuke evolving as a character. Like we see a little bit of his older self, but also the newer self. And I felt like him naming this Gernsback Crossbow and also naming it Al2 and repainting the colors showed that he actually really grew to love the Arbalist and the AI. Even if it was a pain in the butt, he loved it as a character. So we do get to see that. We do get to see that. It was a nice moment. I very much appreciated it. There's more character development later on, but just you see his old self and you see his new self, and just a great mixture of in between. But the first half of the episode is them fixing up the urines back, doing a whole bunch of competitions back to back, earning a lot of reputation, fame. They like the first battle they show the episode was a weapons episode, but then from then onwards, it's all wrestling. But it's a very I thought this was like he was doing after a police vehicle, but I'm like, oh, it's based off the Arbalest. It's kind of hard to tell that if it's the black portions are either like a navy dark blue, or black itself, or gray. It's kind of hard to tell. It was a little bit more obvious in the Arbalest, so maybe that's because of the what color composition they had, or what paint they had. They couldn't exactly paint very well, but it was nice to see Sousuke gung ho about painting and everything. One thing that I was a little bit confused at first is like at the end of the first episode, episode 5, they had both Sousuke and Nami are staying in the room of Mr.Lemon, and he gets confused at first, and they didn't explain that, but then it's like we see the full value like later on. I'm like, oh, okay. So they feel like it's not the need to cover it, and I'm like, all right, I understand. Now, amongst the winning of the battles, of course, we see a little bit of juicy spice of Nami. We see some booba, we see some butt shots. Very nice. She also develops a crush on Sousuke, and Sousuke acts like he's like ignorant of her desire for her. Like, yeah, like she's wanting me because I'm a good, strong, good leader and everything, or a good AS pilot and everything. He talks about that, but then you clearly realize, like, no, he has his eyes on Kamen. It's like he thinks about Chidori. It's like, and he tells the man, I'm like, no, she kind of left me at home, and then she kind of left. So he's not completely oblivious. It's just how he thinks. Like, he's in the more mindset of, yeah, Nami is just a friend, not necessarily a future lover. But they do talk about how she's very blunt. She's a good good girl, even though she dresses a little immodest. But it's part of for the area, and you gotta have to work around the crowds. And you gotta look somewhat good looking if you want things to get going for you. But after all said and done, he and Lemon are about to go parts in a big shopping center, kind of like a fishing market area, and from there they get arrested, and we get to see Sousuke's like next area development. He meets with the police chief, and he gets really smug with him, like gets up in his face, like acts like a hotshot, and we get to see what he's truly after. He wants the illegal battles because they're connected to Agamemnon, and I love his character moment right here. It shows that he's evolved. Like he can actually do the situation. I really love the exchange back and forth. It was a very good moment. Seeing that another evolution of his character. There is another moment I forgot to mention right before they get arrested, but just he's able to get the police chief to kind of semi-agree to him to go do the illegal fights and back away from the normal fights, or at least lose certain fights because they're pissed that he's winning so much. So it's like they kind of made a bit of agreement. And it's clearly obvious he wants Agamemnon's attention, and this is only one way to figure it out. By kind of getting them all getting up in their face and everything, that's why he lets his name be known, because he wants to get their attention. He's going for blood. Another moment that we saw is that an evolution. Lemon remarks that Sousuke is the way he fights with an AS is poetry in motion, or basically art, which means he's taken the lessons that Clouseau said, be an extension of his person, that he's evolved. Like he's even better than he once was. Now he's kind of like and technically speaking, he's actually better than Clouseau, but he's got the skills and he's no longer treats an AS as a machine, but an extension of his body. So he's evolving. He's getting ready for the next chapter. he's getting ready for his next arbalist. But I love this moment. And then when he gets released, he talks with Nami in the hotel room, and he remembers when Kyoko was mentioned, like, I don't want to die not knowing anything. That brings him, and he confides everything, like his mission. He doesn't necessarily mention Mithril by chance, but he just mentioned like the group in hunting Agamemnon. They want to. And he mentioned that the only connection that he's been able to get to that's easily accessible is that some of the paths for their ASs have come from this arena. So it makes sense. I'm like, if you can kill it out, then you can most likely be recruited. So he's thinking these illegal battles are the way to get to Agamemnon. They of course notice. We see Kurama. He tells the police chief, like, don't let him go. So we're gonna be seeing. So clearly they know their. Kurama knows he's there. And he's hoping that he can. The police chief cannot fuck it up and kill Sousuke or whatever. So both sides know each other. Let's see who's gonna come out on top. Basically, excellent episode. The montage of fights, I was a bit confused at the beginning. I'm like, okay, and then I saw what it was leading up to. I'm like, oh, okay, this is all perfect. I absolutely love it. So it starts off a bit strange, but then when you get to know it, it's a very good episode. So overall, 5 and 6 are good episodes. 6 obviously being a lot stronger now that we've seen what he's going after, and it's I kind of wish this is where these 2 episodes would have been like for those who do DVD, this makes for a really good binging, I would say. Having one episode and then waiting another week could be a little bit harmful. I don't know. I probably would have been a little bit annoyed because I'm like, it didn't start off as super strong, not necessarily bad, but you wanted a little bit more of the meat. But with that, I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully have a wonderful, wonderful day. This is coming out on Sunday, so the next 2 episodes maybe will come out on Tuesday or something. I'm not 100% sure. I'll think about it, but yeah, I'm liking this arc. I'm sad I know where this is gonna go, but it's all for the greater good, so to speak. Anyway, catch you guys next time. Have a good Sunday.